Okay, boxing fans, we're going to talk about Lamont Peterson versus Danny Garcia. This is a fight for 0 titles. This is a fight that is inside the welterweight division at 143 pound catch weight. No titles on the line once again. But the winner is basically going to be hailed as the number one 140 pound fighter in the world, if that makes sense, because, they're not even fighting at that weight class. But we'll forget about that. We've got a good fight here. Danny Garcia is finally stepping up again after having the Rod Salka fight. Unbelievable fight. Don't forget, if you want to be the man, you have to beat the man, and Danny Garcia has beat Rod Salka. So, we'll move on. I'm going to bring in the guys to talk about this fight. Firstly, guys, who do you all think is going to win this fight? Just give us your straight who you think is going to win. Who do you think, Rory?
Garcia.
What do you think, Paul?
Danny Garcia.
Who do you think, Kingy?
Danny Garcia.
I think Danny Garcia also, yeah. We don't seem to have much faith in Lamont Peterson. I wonder why. Now, the other questions I've got now is, we don't exactly know what kind of drug testing's going on in this fight. So, we don't know what kind of Lamont Peterson's coming into this fight, because, Lamont does well when he's got something to strengthen his beak. Whenever he's not had something to strengthen his beak, like Lucas Matisse showed, he didn't do too well. He got cleaned out in 3 rounds. So, moving away from that, how do you see Lamont Peterson faring in this fight? Rory, do you think he's going to survive the distance? Do you think he's going to give it a real good go? What do you think is going to happen?
I think it also depends on what sort of Danny Garcia turns up. I think it depends if Danny Garcia is going to be relatively cagey. I think it's even though I think Danny Garcia is a decent enough fighter, I think if either of them to lose, I think they'd have to certainly start to rebuild again. Even though they're both world champs, I'd still think they'd have to sort of in some way rebuild. So I just think Garcia, by either very, very, very late stoppage on his feet or points, I can't see him being blasted out in, early or anything like that.
No. So Danny Garcia has not been very brilliant as of late. He got totally outboxed by Mauricio Herrera and was lucky to walk away with his titles in that fight, and then he needed to step down to fight the man of the moment, Rod Salka, and he got away with that fight. He won that fight, the way he does, knocking him out. Kingy, what do you think is going to happen in this fight between Peterson and Garcia?
I think he's going to stop him in about 8 or 9 rounds. Just think he's going to break him down and keep catching him with the left hook eventually, and he'll go.
Do you think Peterson's chin's good enough to withstand Danny Garcia's power?
No, definitely not. Not if he lands flush on him. Just can't see it. And he's always down. And like you say, you've got to question that when he doesn't pass drug tests, his beak seems to be alright, and when he does, it ain't alright. There's definitely a correlation between the two, isn't there? So.
Yeah, definitely. Here's another question for... You can answer this one, but also this is another one for Paul. Lamont Peterson always starts off, every single fight he starts off thinking he's a master boxer. I'm going to try and outbox this person, that person. Do you think that will work well for him in this fight, or do you think... Because, Danny Garcia can be outboxed. Let's not lie. He can be outboxed. Does Lamont Peterson have the basic tools needed to outbox Danny Garcia, or is he going to be just another one of those fights where he thinks he's a master boxer, gets caught, goes down several times, and then somehow manages to... Well, he either gets knocked out or tries to get back into the fight doing what he should do. We'll start with you, Kingy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he's got the skills at all, but I really don't. I think he'll try and box him. He always does. He comes out trying to use his jab and movement. He just isn't good enough to implement that plan. Right? Exactly. I mean, Garcia is a decent boxer. I'm saying he's the best boxer, but he's a decent boxer and a good counter puncher. And I think if he just try to throw the jab out there, he'd be getting counter punched all day. And then what'll happen is he'll get decked, and he'll go into the trenches like he usually does. And like you say, he'll either get sparked out or he'll come back in the fight. But I see it the first way getting sparked out.
Paul, what do you think? Do you think Peterson's got the boxing skill to outbox Danny Garcia? Because Peterson always comes out thinking he's a master boxer. Do you think he can do it in this fight, or is this going to be the beginning of the end for him?
No doubt he'll do what you've just said he's going to try to. He tried to do it against Khan, he tried to do it against Matisse. He'll come out, sit on the back foot, and try and, I think, if anything, try and counterpunch Garcia. The first few rounds will be really cagey, because neither guy will want to commit to anything, really, but I see it going exactly like you said, really. I think maybe in the second or the third round, he'll get caught with a shot, he'll go down, and I see the fight really dragging out, to be honest. I think Peterson will go down several times in the fight, maybe 3 or 4 times before it's stopped. I don't see him getting sparked out cold or, badly hurt or anything. I just think it will be a lot like the Matisse fight, just a lot slower in pace, because Garcia is not as explosive as Matisse is. He'll keep catching him with a left hook counter. Peterson's rubbish chin won't hold up, and maybe he might have success in spots, like maybe he might outbox Garcia here and there, but there's no way he's going to stick to it for a full 12 rounds at all, and after a little while he'll just do what he always does. He'll give up on the boxing, he'll try and go balls to the wall and make it a brawl, and he'll come off second best, like he always does when he goes balls to the wall.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing about Peterson, like we said, this is his... I don't know why other people can't pick this up. What he does every single time is he actually thinks he's a lot better than he is. He goes out there, thinks he's master boxer. I'm Mayweather, I'm going to outbox this guy, do this, that, the other, and I'm going to really, box and move, and then he gets clocked, because he gets caught all the time, goes down, because he's not that good. Defensively, he's not that good. Gets back up, and then goes, right, I'm going to try and smother this guy now. And then he goes in and tries to smother him. Against Khan, I'll give him the slightest bit of credit. It actually did work. In spot, did work. He got lucky with the decision, but it did work. Against Matisse, he done the exact same thing. I'm a master boxer. Got counter-punched. Went down. Got back up. Went, right, I've got to smother this guy now. And what happens? He got cleaned out. The question is, how good is Danny Garcia? You see, for me, Danny Garcia he's waiting to lose, but I think Peterson is the opponent, the right opponent, just to keep him winning, because his chin's not good. I think this will be a knockout for Danny Garcia, the way I said. It'll be just like Paul said, it'll be a bit like the Matisse fight, but we might be talking 9 rounds, 10 rounds, something like that. So, just to clarify, we'll go through how we're going to see the fight. I'm saying Danny Garcia wins, knockout in the 10th. Paul, who are you saying?
Danny Garcia will get the stoppage after about, I'll say, 7 rounds. And after about 3 or 4 knockdowns. He'll go down a couple of times, and maybe by about round 7, I think, it will just be waved off, because it will just be not competitive at all.
Mm-hmm. Kingy, what are you saying?
Yeah, I'm going to go for round 8 and agree what both of you said about it'll be dragged out, because Garcia is definitely not a good finisher. Right? He had Khan hurt really badly, didn't he? And it took him forever to finish him. So I can see it, like I say, hurting him early and hurting him again later on, and then eventually just, the ref or the corner stopping it, because it's not competitive at all. So
yeah,
round 8.
Rory, what are you saying?
He'll be a little bit more cagier in this fight. He's got a lot to lose. He's probably got much bigger fights ahead or planned out. So I can see him probably going the distance, but winning by an absolute country mile. Mm-hmm. Having a fair few 10-8 rounds as well. Okay.
So you're saying Danny Garcia by points? Yep. Cool. So has anyone else got any questions they want to throw in there at the end, freestyle it, because I'm out.
Do you think either of them are better at 140? Or do you think both, or just one of them would be better at 147?
Oh, I can answer that one. I think the Danny Garcia days at 140 are gone completely. I don't think he can make that weight anymore. Too big. He can't do it. Peterson is a 140 fighter. He cannot fight at 147. He's too small. there was times when he could have probably made 135. Seriously, but that is that. What was your one? Anyone else want to throw in their thoughts on that?
Yeah. My question's really simple. Is there any point in this fight really happening, even if the belts were on the line? Because, as we've said before, Peterson very, very infamously got absolutely destroyed by Matisse in a non-title fight. And then Matisse went on to fight Garcia for Garcia's belts, and that was a very close fight, but Garcia won it. And he doesn't seem at all interested in having a rematch. Even if the belts were on the line, is there really any point now in this fight? I don't think there is.
Well,
we do like to see champions fight each other a lot, but I think this is one of the very rare examples where there was no need for the guys who hold the belts to fight each other, because nobody's wondering which one of these guys are better.
That's right. The thing is, though, Lamont Peterson beat Amir Khan, or took Amir Khan's belt, and because of that, he's got a career for life in big fights, because he beat Amir Khan, and people will just be happy that he's beat Amir Khan. It doesn't matter that he, was doping. It doesn't matter that he got a lot of help with the referee and the judges. It doesn't matter. All that matters is who he beat, and now his career from there on outwards has basically evolved from that fight.
I'll answer Paul's question as well.
Okay,
I think you can answer that question by noting that there's another 140 pound fight happening relatively soon, with no belts whatsoever, with neither of them being a champion, which is much more anticipated and much more, people are much more looking forward to. So I think that alone pretty much spells it for you, Paul. Yeah, you're completely right. I don't think.
Here's a question. We all agree that Garcia will win the fight, and afterwards he'll go to 147, and Peterson will probably go back to 140. Do we think Peterson, when he goes back to 140, will fight either of Matisse or Provodnikov, or even Crawford, if Crawford wins the WBO belt?
No.
I think he'll be forced to at some point within the next 6 months to 12 months, but I don't think he will do out of choice.
Or here's another option. Do you think because farcically he's still going to be IBF champion at the end of this fight, do you think he'll end up just fighting Broner, and so Broner can become a 4-weight world champion?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Dead
He'll
on.
cash out somewhere.
He won't fight Matisse again because he'll get cleaned out again. They could fight 100 times. They could fight every day of the week, and Matisse would win every day of the week. Sometimes one guy's just made for the other guy. Peterson is just made.
I wish I'd have known that when I went and predicted Peterson to win when we first done the prediction for that.
Well, you live and learn, Paul, and you'll never make that stupid mistake again, will you?
I will never live that down.
I'm telling you, he is so tailor-made, he could wear him as a cheap suit.
But he may fight Provodnikov, though.
Yeah,
right, and hear me out. Because he thinks he's this slick boxer, he might think, oh, look at this guy, he's fucking basic and he's shit. Look what Algieri did to him, and Algieri's shit. I could beat him, I'm this boxer, I'm that, this, that and the other. It's possible,
Yeah, definitely possible. And
if he fights
he fought that against Matisse and he fucking found out the hard way, didn't he?
If he fights Provodnikov, then I think he's going to end up living back in the bus station, to be honest.
Well, let's all just hope that fight between Matisse and Provodnikov is that good and that close that the winner of that will take his belt and then they'll rematch each other for the belt. And we'll get to see that fight twice.
I hope so.
Oh, we can dream.
Yeah. We can dream. What? Anyone else got any questions, or are we going to call it?
I think we covered it, innit?
I'm good, man.
We'll call it. Thanks for listening, guys. We're out.